Hold on one second, y'all. Let me just get my timer up here on the screen so we all can follow along. All right, y'all, welcome back to another edition of Butts, Guts, and Body. I am your instructor and trainer, Olivia Winfield, here today on the virtual Y, and welcome. All right, so if you are new here, what does butts, guts, and body mean? Well, the name is pretty self-explanatory. You know, we're going to be working on the butt, the gut, and the entirety of your body, aka we are going to be doing some core work. So 30 minutes of sweat, 30 minutes of work. Let's get to it, all right? We're going to start with some basic squats to warm ourselves up, doing some dynamic warm-ups here, getting the movement into our body of the work we're going to be doing today. Also, just good to warm up the muscles. I don't know about you, but I've been kind of sitting a lot right now, so it feels good to kind of get the blood flowing that way. And I don't mean walking, just movement, you know? All right, and let's switch. Now we're gonna go from squat to a lunge, all right? 1, 2, if this is a little too much to you, you can just stay right here and do a split squat. 3, 4, the main difference between a lunge and a split squat. 5 is your starting position. 7, where I was going. 8, 9, and 10. All right, let me get you a side view here. So for a split squat, as I said, you would just stay right here, stationary, and just drop down on this working leg. With a lunge, same concept, except you always, 1, come back to center. 2, you always bring your feet back together. 3, 4, 5, which is also why balance becomes key. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Woohoo! All right. And let's do some butt kicks. Let's get some more of our quads here. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. And then lastly, let's get our inner thighs, because we're definitely going to be doing some inner thigh work today. So let's go ahead and bring our legs out past shoulder width this time. And turn your toes out to the corners. And you're going to sink down into a sumo squat. 2, squeeze your glutes on the way up. 3, 4, 5, 6, make sure your knees are not past your toes. 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, and then lastly, let's do a couple step overs to warm up our hip flexors, our abductors, and our adductors here. If you hear a little snap, crackle, pop, that's okay. What you don't want to hear and what you don't want to feel is a sharp shooting pain. What you don't want are twinges. That's a no-go. Yeah. All right. Hopefully you feel a little warmed up. I feel pretty warmed up. Let's go ahead and move into our first exercise, which is going to be a dumbbell Romanian deadlift to a lunge. I know, Olivia, crazy. What are you talking about? I'm talking about this. So we've been working on, in the last couple of my classes, is that hinge movement that is so key and critical to your Romanian deadlifts, as well as your squat. But they work in a different way for those movements. So, for example, grab my 2 dumbbells here, top of my thighs, wrists facing me, feet about shoulder width distance apart, slight bend in the knees, back is straight, pushing those hips back, and come up for Romanian deadlift. Now we're gonna go into a lunge. Yeah. So I'm gonna move my right leg back, come up, lunge, lunge, and that's 1. All right, you can do this, I promise you. That's 2. All right, 3. And make sure you try to remember to switch legs. 4, I encourage you to start with your weak leg, not your strong leg. Everyone always wants to start with the strong side, but the strong side That's how your strong side stays strong and your weak side stays weak. You gotta work them both. Halfway. It's like 6. All right, we're gonna go to 8. I think that's 8. All right, we'll stop there for right now. Yeah, those are tough. That's 25 pounds. Yeah, you know, strong. All right. And for our core, yes, because we still got to do the gut. You're going to come down and we're going to do spider crawls. Now, you can do them the conventional way, which is up in the push-up position, like so. Or you can do it down here on your knees. Or rather, I guess you want to stay on your hands and knees. And you want to bring it in to your elbow, like so. So do what feels good in your body, do what feels best. You don't always have to follow along with me doing exactly what I do. This is a class that allows for a little bit of freestyling, okay, and modifications. All right. In 3, 2, and 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Whew. All right. Get yourself a sip of water. You have earned it, you deserve it. And in general, you should always be drinking some water. All right. It is October 1st, and it feels like summertime outside. Once upon a time, I would agree to that with open arms, but that was also back when things were different. Things have changed since then, and so now I'm not very happy with this. I quite like my fall weather. I am quite ready to wear a hoodie outside and sweatpants without feet turning into a sweaty, sticky mess. I hate it, honestly. I'm ready to be done. Summer is over. Let's go. Ooh, I'm just being cranky. All right, 1, 2. All right, we're gonna switch it up this time. A little easier. 3, 4, but you make sure you're switching your legs every time. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right. Whew. Yeah. Yeah, this is gonna be a sweaty one, y'all. It's gonna be a sweaty one. Whew. And I'm the one that wrote it. You know, so I was thinking to myself, like, man, I am sleepy. I feel tired. I want to lay down, take a nap. But I got class to teach. And more importantly, I gotta make sure I'm showing up well for y'all. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Whew. It's like I gotta show up for you guys. I gotta show up well for y'all. Gotta make sure that, you know, just because I'm sleepy, that doesn't translate through. However, that doesn't mean I'm gonna be all pretendy, smiley either, you know? Like, if I'm not feeling it, I'm not feeling it, bro. But there is a balance between not feeling it and like expressing it. I don't know, for lack of a better term, for what I'm trying to describe here, but you know, like emotional regulation. Like, it is what it is. And also too, it's realistic. Not every time that you are gonna go work out, you want to work out. Even if it's something that you truly enjoy, sometimes you don't feel like doing it. And that's okay. It's called being human. And you're allowed to have your off days. And whether that's an off day, as in you don't go to the gym, or an off day where things just seem to be not quite right. Whatever that may be, you are allowed to have it. You're allowed to express it. Anybody that tells you or encourages you to suppress your dissatisfaction, your irritation, your annoyance, your exhaustion, basically anything that's not overly positive, anyone that dissuades you from being your full human self and expressing yourself thereof, I don't know if that's someone you want to keep in your life, dog. To be honest with you. Don't know. All right. 2 more. 1 on each leg, guys. I don't know how many that was, but it was definitely enough. All right. And final deadlift. Yeah. Shake your hands out if you need it. I know I do. And we'll come down and do our last spider crawl set. And then, hey, we're already gonna be at exercise number 2. Look at that. Whew. But yeah, you're allowed to have bad days, people. You are. You're allowed to have a bad day. What you're not allowed to do is take it out on other people. What you're not allowed to do is make your problem somebody else's problem. That ain't cool. But you are allowed to not be happy. Yes, you are. All right, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Whew. Oh man, okay. That's the first set, or first exercise is done. Finito. Whew. I would say that's probably the hardest strength exercise we're gonna do today with a weight. We do have a body weight exercise at the end of this class that will test your flexibility and your mobility a little bit. But as far as the most strenuous amount of work you just did, those deadlifts to lunges were definitely it. All right. Exercise number 2. Oh, I forgot to mention at the start of class, dumbbells, heavy set, in case you couldn't tell, sorry. And then you also need a kettlebell. If you don't have a kettlebell, you can also use dumbbells for this as well. So we're gonna do a goblet squat with a pulse. So, anatomy of a goblet squat versus a sumo squat. So at least the way it looks to me is that your goblet squat, you essentially start in the same position that you would for a normal squat. You're just gonna turn your toes out like a mini sumo squat. A sumo squat would have your feet out past your shoulders. So that is the difference. We're gonna do goblet squats, not sumos, goblets. However, if sumo squats feel better for your hips, then please, by all means, do the sumo squats. What I don't want you to do is quit or give up. All right, so let us begin. Goblet squat with a pulse. All right, so I'm gonna drop down here, bring it up to my chest, and up. 1, 2, let me do a side view. That's the other thing with a goblet squat too. The goal Part of it is to go past parallel. All right, 3, squeeze the glutes on the way up. 4, 5, it's okay if you can't go past parallel just yet. 6, 7, with practice, you will. 8, 9, 10, 11, one more, and 12. All right. And make sure that core's engaged, of course. All right, and then we are gonna come down. You know what? I had plank rotations. Let's do plank rotations. All right. The cool thing about being the instructor is that I can change my mind at any time. All right, let's come up. 1, 2. Remember, you can also go down on your knees. 3, like so. 4. Make sure that core is engaged. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, let's get some water. Whew. So yeah, that's my spiel for today. Whew. I'm saying for me, like I said, like even if my energy is not super, super high up right now, I still have energy for y'all because this is important. It's important that I have energy for you. What is not important to me, though, is to fake the funk. I am not gonna sit here and force myself to smile if I don't feel like smiling, you know? I'm not gonna force cheeriness if I don't feel cheery. But at the same time, if I'm feeling like irritated, like I may express that, I may not. But it's all how you express it, you know? It's all in the how. A lot of people really seem to forget that. And I feel like fitness, though, really brings it back home that technique is everything, baby. It's all in how you do it. It's not so much as the why you do it or when you do it, but how. And it's the same when having to deliver messages or tell people something that's uncomfortable. It's all in the how. It is all in the method. Because here's the thing, it dictates reception more often than not. How something is said can be just as important to how it's received. And in fact, you want to try to do your best that the message is received in the way that you intended. So, the how becomes important. Now, of course, there are those times where it doesn't matter what you do, what you say, they were going to misinterpret it anyway. And for those individuals, we just wish them well and move on with our lives. Because here's the thing, I don't know about you, but I'm not interested in trying to convince people of something that they are not interested in being convinced of. I would rather pour my time and energy into those who will actually listen and seek to understand, not just seek to respond. Yeah, all right. We are on our final set of our goblet squat. You know what? It was supposed to be with a pulse. We have not been doing that. So we're gonna do that on the last set. And then we'll go into our final round of plank rotations. And then we have our final exercise left. All right. Whew, this time let's include the pulse, because that's what I originally wrote. All right. Last round of our goblet squats. If you notice how I am choking, or I'm clutching it up at my chest height, that's because if I keep it down low, it's gonna hit the ground before I get my full range of motion, and it's gonna impede it. So that's why I like holding it at chest height. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Yeah. Something that was not my favorite exercise, but has now become one of my favorites, for sure. All right, last round of our plank rotations. If you are also a practitioner, enjoyer, partaker of yoga, I highly suggest you check out our yoga offerings on the virtual Y. They are incredibly useful tools for balance, breath, some mobility, but also tangentially, I find yoga actually really helps with my strength training in the sense of one breath, one movement. Really applying those rules of the vinyasa to my strength training. So check out Kayla Lindquist, Mike Kooiman on the virtual Y. They're some of my favorites out there. Mike did this killer boat pose sequence earlier. Like, whew, I gotta take notes from him when it comes to core. And then Kayla last week, she did a plank rotation all the way over like that. Yeah. Listen, we work hard over here on the virtual Y. All right, let's go ahead and get some water. And that's the thing I love about the virtual Y, actually, is that each instructor is unique. No two of us are alike. We may teach the same classes or even the same variation of the same classes, or sorry, similar variations of the same classes, but they're just that. Variations on a theme. And I think that's really, really cool. So you really can pick and choose who do you like, who you really vibe with, who is your preferred instructor style. I feel like it really helps you as a user, as a member, really learn yourself. How do you best learn? What resonates with you? What sticks with you? And I really feel that our virtual Y does an awesome job of tailoring to our specific audience members' needs just by sheer virtue of the diversity of our instructors currently on our roll. All right, I am sweating. Woo! All right, y'all. Last and final exercise. We're gonna do body weight Cossack squats. Yeah, so Cossack squat is like a sumo squat, taken out even further, okay? And you're gonna lean down into one leg, bring that up. Yeah, like that. 2, 3. Here, let me make sure I'm like even with the mat here. So it's like, yeah, you're taking it out past the sumo squat almost, or similar to a sumo squat, and then you're leaning down and extending that one leg. 4, 5, 6, 7, balance is key. 8, 9, 10, 2 more, 11, and 12. Woo, all right, come back up to standing. Yeah, we're getting that inner leg, inner thigh. Come on down to the mat. We're gonna do Supermans, because the core is not just your front abdominals, it is also your back. All right, you remember what Superman looks like, right? Arms out in front. So you're gonna bring all 4 up. Squeeze that back, abdominals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can squeeze your shoulder blades on the way back to 9 and 10. Whew, all right. Okay, 5.5 minutes left. 2 more rounds of Cossack squats, 2 more rounds of Supermans. Then we have a quick cool down. Also, if you would like a more extended cool down, a more extended stretching period, I will be teaching a stretch and foam release class at 3:15 today. So after this class, 15-minute break. Wipe the sweat from your brow. I don't know, maybe get a little snack, a little nibble of a protein bar or something. And then at 3:15, grab a mat, kick off your shoes and socks, and we gonna relax, and we gonna stretch, and we gonna chill, cause it's the midweek point, you know? And sometimes we just need, even if just only 15 minutes of chill. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. All right. Whew, okay. Okay, I forgot what we were doing. Supermans. Okay. This is why I write things down. Because even if I wrote them the day of, I'ma still forget. Okay. Superman. You. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Whee! Ha, okay. All right, guys, we got about 3.5 minutes left. Let's go ahead and get our water and move right into our last round of Cossack squats. Why are they called Cossack squats? Have you ever seen a picture of a 20th century Cossack, pre-Soviet era? So 19th, early 20th century. You ever see them? They're doing this thing in the picture, you know? They're like, ha! They do like the whole jumping thing. So, you know, the Russian can, Cossack squats. All right, last and final round. Fun fact, when I was a kid doing Russian cans, I broke my pinky. A kid stepped on it in 1st grade. And that was my first break. My first breaking of a bone, I should say. Whew. Unfortunately, it was not the last, but we digress. All right. Make sure you are turning that toe out and back in as you come into that squat. Whew. All right. Hey, all right. Whew. Let's come down to our last round of Supermans. Then we'll go right into our cool down. Whew. Great work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Ooh, I'm starting to feel it in my lower back just a little bit, and that's okay. It's kind of where I want to feel it. Working on that posture. All right, let's take a quick child's pose here. Whew, stretch out that upper back. Oh, man. Whew, great work, everyone. So remember, we're just doing a quick cool down as the timer runs out, because we only have but so much time. Let's go ahead and bring that right foot forward. Keep that left foot back, runner's lunge. I really love how I filter for instrumentals only, and yet the vocals still come through. I'm annoyed. I mean, I just, you know, what good is technology, you know? But I'm just saying, like, the filter is there for a reason, and yet it don't be filtering. What kind of sense does that make? All right, let's come forward into well, actually first let's do a little half pigeon hip opener here. My thing is, it's not that I mind the lyrics, it's just that there's a good chance that there's gonna be swear words, and, you know, I just, like, can we not? Alright, ooh, yeah, really feeling on this hip. And remember, guys, when you are stretching, it's perfectly okay and normal to feel tighter on one side than the other. That's why we stretch, you know. It's also why we work out, to help even out those imbalances. And again, as I said at the top of the exercise class, it's all in how you do it. The method does indeed matter. All right, y'all, that is it for me today. Like I said, if you want a dedicated stretching class, I do have that coming up today at 3:15, so I'm gonna take a quick little break, change the music, and I'll see you all again in about 15 minutes. Otherwise, we do have extended core and stretch classes available on the Virtual Y, taught by Claire and Linda Denton. So you can absolutely check those out if you can't join me. Otherwise, check us out on demand. My name is Olivia Winfield, Virtual Y instructor and personal trainer, and this was Butts, Guts, and Body. Thank y'all.
I'm Sarah, and this is Cardio Dance. Are you guys ready to work out? Let's do it.
I woke up feeling like this gon' be my day. I got that poppin' fire every step I take. Living that wild
Through the bag. Go. That's where we want to go.
Last 10 seconds. I'm right here with you. Let's do it.
Welcome to the Y. My name is Erin. I'm Jennifer.
My name is Linda.
My name is Tommy, and today we're going to do a quick step routine.
We feeling like we can conquer the world today?
I wish you all could smell it. It smells so good.
Time. We get stronger in my world. We're going to do it again.
We'll see you again. Keep working hard. You did awesome.